Hello, everybody. On January 20th, 2025, on President Trump's first day in office, he signed a host of executive orders that have direct implications for the United States immigration system. My goal in today's video is to go through 7 of these executive orders and just highlight a little bit about each one to give you an overall summary. Hopefully, you'll get some good value here. First one that I want to cover is called Protecting the United States from Foreign Terrorists and Other National Security and Public Safety Threats. And by the way, I should say that I'm going to be reading quite a bit here. This is very new. These executive orders were just signed as of the date of the filming of this video just 2 days ago. So please bear with me. I'm going to be doing some reading, but I just want to be very accurate. So again, the title of the first executive order, Protecting the United States from Foreign Terrorists and Other National Security and Public Safety Threats. Essentially, the purpose of this executive order is to enhance vetting and screening processes for foreign nationals to prevent entry of individuals who may pose security threats. As far as the actions that are directed under this executive order, it directs the Secretary of State, Attorney General, Secretary of Homeland Security, and the Director of National Intelligence to identify resources for comprehensive vetting, establishes a uniform baseline for screening standards, reinstating protocols from January 19th, 2021. It mandates a report within 60 days, identifying countries with deficient information sharing practices, potentially leading to suspension of admissions from those nations. And there's various other things called for in this executive order as well. I think of the various executive orders, I think this one is absolutely critical in its implications for immigration. I think it's very possible that as a result of this executive order, we're going to see more instances of administrative processing where somebody goes and applies for a visa and their case is held for additional security checks before a visa can officially be issued. I also expect to see certain countries where people seeking visas from those countries are essentially banned due to what is talked about here. If the country has deficient data in terms of their citizens to be able to identify whether an individual poses security threats. So I think this executive order is likely going to lead to certain immigration bans, similar to what we saw in the first term of President Trump. And something interesting here is, again, I think in addition to higher instances of administrative processing, I think that this particular executive order also leaves the door open for revoking visas of people that have been issued visas for countries that are potentially deficient in their information about their citizens, leading the United States to be unable to properly vet their citizens that are seeking immigration benefits. So potential visa revocation, potential bans of immigration from certain countries, potential instances of additional administrative processing for more stricter standards of vetting for security purposes, and more. There's much more to this executive order as well. It's a very significant immigration executive order, and those that are interested should certainly read it. I'm going to be putting links to all the executive orders that we're going over in today's video. I'm going to be putting links in the description of this video so that you can click on them and read them for yourself. Moving on to the second executive order, Protecting the American People Against Invasion. Purpose: ensures strict enforcement of immigration laws to safeguard national security and public safety. And the key actions: it revokes previous executive orders that relaxed immigration enforcement policies. It instructs federal agencies to employ all lawful means to enforce immigration laws against inadmissible and removable aliens. And it prioritizes prosecution of offenses related to unauthorized entry or continued unauthorized presence. And the implications here, it basically signals a return to stricter immigration enforcement, potentially increasing deportations and legal actions against unauthorized immigrants. So basically increasing ICE enforcement of removals. That would likely take place through this executive order. Now, moving on to the third executive order in today's video, which is titled Securing Our Borders. And the purpose here is it achieves complete operational control of U.S. borders to prevent illegal entry and enhance national security. And the key actions here are that it orders the construction of physical barriers and deployment of personnel along the southern border. Oftentimes it's referred to as the border wall. It ends the catch and release policy mandating detention of apprehended individuals until removal. And it directs the resumption of the migrant protection protocols requiring asylum seekers to wait in Mexico during processing, so also known as the Remain in Mexico policy. So the border wall, the ending of catch and release, and the Remain in Mexico policy all fall under this executive order. And as far as the implications, it focuses on physical infrastructure and policy changes to deter illegal immigration and manage asylum claims. Okay, so the fourth executive order that we're covering in today's video is a very hot button executive order that's been getting a lot of media attention. You've certainly probably heard about it. I've posted a video about it in the past. It's called Protecting the Meaning and Value of American Citizenship. And this is the executive order designed to curtail birthright citizenship in the United States. Hi, everybody. We originally recorded this video on Wednesday, January 22nd. The very next day, on Thursday, January 23rd, a federal judge officially blocked this executive order from going into effect. As you'll hear later in this video, the executive order was set to take effect beginning February 19th. And as we've known all along, this executive order was going to face tremendous legal challenges. 22 states filed lawsuits to prevent the executive order from going into effect. And as part of one of those cases, a federal judge has temporarily blocked the executive order from going into effect. So enjoy the rest of the video, but I just wanted to provide you with this quick update, as this was an update that took effect after we originally recorded this video on Wednesday. Thank you so much. Again, the purpose clarifies the interpretation of the 14th Amendment concerning birthright citizenship. And what it does is it states that U.S. citizenship is not automatically granted to individuals born in the U.S. depending on certain factors. Specifically, it attempts to prevent people from obtaining birthright citizenship if they were born in the United States and their mother was either in the United States unlawfully, or if their mother was in the United States lawfully, but in some sort of a temporary status, like a visitor visa or a student visa, and their father was not a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident. Basically, this executive order seeks to eliminate issuance of birthright citizenship to these individuals if those factors are present. When that executive order is set to take effect, it's for people essentially that are born in the United States that fit into those categories after 30 days from the order's date. And all of these executive orders were signed on President Trump's first day in office, which is January 20th, 2025. Moving to the fifth executive order for today's video, realigning the United States Refugee Admissions Program. And the purpose is to suspend the U.S. Refugee Admissions Program to reassess its alignment with national interests. And as far as the key actions, it suspends entry of refugees under U.S. RAP, the U.S. Refugee Admissions Program, subject to case-by-case exceptions deemed in the national interest. It requires a report within 90 days to determine if resumption of refugee admissions aligns with U.S. interests, and it explores greater involvement of state and local jurisdictions in refugee placement decisions. And the implications essentially are what we just discussed. It halts new refugee admissions temporarily pending a review of the program's impact on resources and community integration. So this would seek to tremendously limit admissions of people to the United States as refugees. Now, moving to the sixth executive order, it's called Clarifying the Military's Role in Protecting the Territorial Integrity of the United States. And the purpose is it defines the military's responsibilities in securing national borders against various threats. And as far as the key actions, it directs the Secretary of Defense to assign U.S. Northern Command the mission to secure borders and repel invasions, including unlawful mass migration and trafficking. And the second key action is that it mandates continuous assessment of options to protect U.S. territory from foreign threats and criminal organizations. And the implications are that it expands the military's role in border security, potentially increasing military presence and operations along border. And moving to the seventh and final executive order of today's video, and it's titled Declaring a National Emergency at the Southern Border of the United States. And the purpose of this executive order is to address the situation at the southern border as a national emergency requiring immediate action. And as far as the key actions, it declares a national emergency due to threats posed by illegal crossings, trafficking, and narcotics smuggling. It authorizes the use of armed forces and construction of additional physical barriers to secure the border. And it directs the deployment of military personnel and resources to support the Department of Homeland Security in achieving full operational control of the southern border. And as far as the implications, it invokes emergency powers to allocate resources and personnel rapidly for border security enhancements. So a couple things that I want to mention. We briefly summarized 7 executive orders in today's video. These executive orders have a lot more detail than what was discussed in today's video. Each executive order could be its own very lengthy video just to go through the details presented in the video in the executive order itself. So I just wanted to do a very quick touch on each of these executive orders to give you a general understanding of some of the executive orders that were passed on President Trump's first day in office. It's likely that many more executive orders may be passed in the coming days. We're certainly going to be continuing to monitor the situation very closely to see what becomes of these executive orders. There's likely to be tremendous legal challenges brought about by the states. Just to give you some reference, immediately after the executive order was signed for the executive order attempting to curtail birthright citizenship, 22 states filed lawsuits to prevent the enforcement of that executive order. These executive orders, many of them are likely to face tremendous legal backlash. So we're going to be monitoring them very closely to see what becomes of them, whether they are reworded and re-signed or whether they go through as currently construed. But one thing is for sure, these executive orders have massive implications to the U.S. immigration system. So as I said, we're going to be closely monitoring to check for updates, more videos in the coming days and weeks ahead to keep our audience informed. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. I hope you got a lot of value here. If you did, please feel free to smash that thumbs up button. When you hit the like button on the video, it helps YouTube know to share this information with more people. And that brings me to my next point. If you know anybody that can benefit from this information, please feel free to share this video with them. We're all about empowering you with knowledge. So the more people that can benefit from this video, that actually end up watching this video, the better. So again, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you on the next video.